Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Gift of Health Total Wellness, where we actually help people struggling with chronic diseases, including but not limited to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease, and other common chronic conditions that you see nowadays. So we help people to break free from those diseases, reduce their dependence on medications, and have more energy. And today, my guest is Amanda Sick, and I'm so glad to welcome her here because, as you can see, like when it comes to processed foods, so she is going to talk about like how you can break free from processed food, and she has an amazing contribution to the bundle. I will let her describe her contribution, but briefly, like Amanda, like most of us, she grew up on standard American diet, fast food, processed junk, and plenty of sugar. But after transitioning to a plant-based lifestyle, she discovered her passion for recreating childhood favorites in a way that's both nourishing and healthy. And she is actually on a mission to show that healthy eating can be easy, enjoyable, and satisfying. So, welcome, Amanda.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to talking with you.
Yes. So tell me, Amanda, like how old are you now?
I'm 28 now.
28.
Yeah.
And tell me, like, what were your favorite foods to eat?
Oh gosh, where do I start? Anything that came from a box or a package or a fast food drive-through, I loved. I loved McDonald's, Taco Bell, Panda Express, things like that. Trying to think of any like sugary cereals. I grew up eating those, Pop Tarts, Cheez-Its, any frozen meals, ice cream, lots and lots of ice cream and candy. That was pretty much my diet for the first 20, 21 years or so.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I grew up eating all of that.
So what encouraged so do you eat differently now?
Oh, yes, I would say so. Yes. Yeah, I eat a whole food plant-based diet. I've been vegan for almost 7 years. Um, and yeah, I try to eat I'm not fully raw. I'm definitely high raw, I would say, especially in the summer months. Um, but I eat, yeah, a lot of juicing, smoothies, big salads, a lot of fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Complete opposite to what I grew up on.
So
Yeah.
what actually and inspired you to make the switch?
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up, I would have, luckily I was very active as a kid. And so I think that helped a little bit with, I was never like severely overweight or had like serious issues growing up. But I did have little things here, that I would deal with, like migraines and really painful periods and acid reflux. I was on medication for my acid reflux issue. Um, and then I had, stomach issues and just like irritability and just moodiness and stuff like that. And then, but in college, I started developing really bad acne, like out of nowhere. And I was around 20, 21 at the time. And I had, some acne like most people do in high school and stuff like that. But this was like different. And I was like, what is happening? And luckily, it turns out it was a blessing in disguise because it really woke me up to, instead of deciding to, like the doctor at the time suggested I get on hormonal birth control or I take a strong antibiotic. And luckily, something in me just didn't sit right with me. And so I decided, no, I don't want to take these things. I want to figure out why this is happening and I want to get to the root cause and heal it naturally. And at the time, I didn't know how I was going to do that or how long it was going to take, or that it would lead me down to the path that I went on with my diet and my journey and all that. But so basically, yeah, I just started researching and I came across research on gut health and the connection between the gut and skin and just how important our gut health really is. And that, our gut really is people say it's our second brain, but some people say it's like our first brain. And all disease really starts in the gut. So, and it's definitely connected to your skin. So, it wasn't I didn't go complete 180 change overnight, but I first did go vegan for, the ethical reasons and because it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't want to eat animals anymore. So, but when I first went vegan, I was still eating a lot of the processed vegan stuff. And But at that time, I was researching on gut health and kind of slowly cutting out things, and then I went fully vegan, and then it wasn't until I went fully whole food plant based with a lot of raw foods and cutting out the ultra processed vegan stuff that I was still eating that kind of helped the transition from the standard American diet I was on to a vegan diet. Um, but then it really was when I started juicing and eating a lot of whole foods and a lot of fruits and vegetables and incorporating things like intermittent fasting and exercising more and things like that is when I really started seeing changes in my skin. But not only my skin, and it didn't happen overnight. It was a long journey, and from years of you have 20 years of eating like as poorly as I was, it's not going to happen a big change overnight. But the body knows how to heal, and the body's always trying to heal. You just have to give it the right tools to do so. And so, yeah, I dove down, into research on gut health and natural healing, and I just became very passionate about it. And at that time, I was like, okay, well, I don't know, because I didn't grow up in the kitchen, and so I had to experiment and I had to learn myself and try these new foods that I've never had before. And I just started. Luckily, I really enjoyed it, and it just kind of sparked this passion for me for creating healthier recipes that still were satisfying my cravings, and because I've always been a big foodie and love food and especially like sweets and stuff. So I was like, how do I make healthier versions of these things using, dates as a sweetener instead of like sugar and stuff like that. So um yeah, that's kind of what led me down the path. Was really my skin was kind of the catalyst for all of that, and just seeing family members, my mom, my grandma, other people in my family deal with health issues, and be on medication their whole life and stuff like that, and just really not wanting to go down that path for myself. Yeah.
I can't believe, Amanda, you're saying that you had no experience in the kitchen and like like you learned how to create this recipe because your recipes, oh my God, they look amazing.
Thank you.
Like they're mouth watering, they're amazing. So and I can't believe that like you didn't have any experience in the kitchen. So like could you give like few examples of some of the dishes that you create?
Yeah, so as far as, like, on the so this the book I have in this bundle is called More Plants, Less Processed, and so this one is, like, a combination of both sweet and savory recipes, and I try to use very simple ingredients that are whole food, plant-based, obviously vegan, no refined sugar, and, some just examples of desserts that I like to do. I have, like, raw brownie recipe that's very simple. It's just made with dates and walnuts and cacao and, like, a couple other ingredients, and you just kinda throw everything in a food processor and then spread it out in a dish and put it in the freezer, and you're pretty much done. You got some raw brownies. Things like yeah, the the cookie dough brownie cake
So
there.
look, yeah, look
Um,
at your
that was
yeah, I know like
that
we are not supposed to show the
no, it's
recipe.
fine.
So the Twix cake,
Mhm.
the cookie
Those
dough.
are yeah, those cakes are a little more those will take a little more time to throw together, but the Snickers
Yes,
bars, those are a good one. I did make those on Chef AJ's show if anyone wants to check that out.
yeah, and
And yeah,
raw
the raw cinnamon
cinnamon.
rolls. So yeah,
And
all those are go ahead.
then I tried this carrot cake cookies,
Yeah.
Amanda, and they are so delicious.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so mostly everything in there is sweetened with dates, or there's some that use, like, pure maple syrup or coconut sugar, um, but very simple, like, whole food, you're gonna get good nutrients in from, the oats and the nuts and stuff in there and the fruit. Obviously, those and ice creams I like doing a lot because 'cause they're very simple, and I used to love ice cream growing up, and so to make, like, a healthier, nice cream with just some fruit, um, is really easy to do, and it satisfies those cravings for sure. So yeah, there's about 40 or so recipes in the book, and I eat savory food too. I don't just eat sweets, so there's savory stuff in there too.
Yeah.
A lot of raw or not a lot, there's a few raw recipes,
And
and
I
then
love this sweet potato broccoli fritters too, Amanda. Like
yeah.
when this, yeah, this are so good. And the teriyaki tempeh.
Yeah, so I tried it like the teriyaki tempeh. I grew up eating like teriyaki chicken and teriyaki plates a lot, and stuff like that. So and nachos and things like that. So I try to make things that I used to enjoy, and I try to do a twist on that and make a healthier version, or like that chickpea salad. That one's a good, that's very simple to make, and you can make a batch and keep it, on hand for the week and use it in salads and wraps and just eat it on its own. It's super easy to throw together. Yeah, the cauliflower ones, those are pretty good too.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
like a healthier take on, like,
Uh-huh.
barbecue wings or something like that. And not saying the cauliflower tastes exactly like a chicken wing, but it's a good alternative. And uh yeah, so I just love showing people through my recipes, um that you don't have to, because I think a lot of people, when they think of a whole food plant-based diet or a vegan lifestyle, a lot of people think, oh, that's, too restrictive, or it's boring or tasteless or bland, and all you're eating is, kale and, so they have this misconception. And so I try to show people that no, I mean, if you are interested in eating a plant-based diet, you don't have to feel restricted. You don't have to feel like it's too difficult or, too time consuming. Like, most of those recipes take, 20, 30 minutes to throw together. It's not like you're spending hours in the kitchen. And again, I mean, people want to enjoy their food. I understand that. I'm the same way. So it's possible to still enjoy what you're eating and get satisfied from your meal or your dessert, but do it in a much healthier way. That's not going to, you know, because it's the processed food thing that you brought up is, it's so prevalent. And I try to encourage people, regardless if you're vegan or not, like, just try to limit the ultra processed stuff as much as you can and try to start cooking in your own kitchen. And because I know a lot of people don't like cooking, and I get that, but it really, if you want to, really focus on your health, and especially for longevity and stuff, it's really best to prepare your own food. And if you have kids, get your kids involved in the kitchen and make it fun for them, because like I said, I didn't grow up in the kitchen, and a lot of people, they grow up like I did, not being in the kitchen, and they don't they kind of continue that through they have kids, and they just continue the cycle of, like, eating processed food and eating out, and they just never learn how to cook. Um, so if you do have kids and you have the opportunity to get them in the kitchen, I think that's a really good thing to do as well.
Yeah, that is so true, Amanda. I mean, like, if kids, because right now the kids are more familiar with the packaged products than the real produce.
Yeah.
They cannot identify certain vegetables, certain fruits, but
Yeah.
they can identify packaged
Yep.
products. And they think, I mean, when it comes to food, it is coming from a package. That's what people think. So,
Mhm.
like, in this bundle, I also like Alana's. She has a ABC coloring book
Yeah, I
where
saw that.
she has different vegetables and fruits, and she also speaks about, like, how you can use each one differently in a dish, which is really amazing. So
That's
that's,
awesome.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
wonderful contribution in the bundle itself. And I love, I know, like, you past year, like, you also contributed your sweet creations, Simply Sweet. And
Mhm.
what I love about this year is you have both savory and sweet, so it's a double bonanza. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the first one, yeah, Simply Sweet was a fun one to make. That was my first product, because I think, like I said, I grew up with a sweet tooth and grew up eating all that stuff. So I think for my first, and that's kind of how I got excited about being in the kitchen. I was like, oh, I can still enjoy these desserts, but make them in, like, a healthier way with dates and, like, these and fruit and stuff like that, and it still tastes amazing. So I think with the dessert thing, that's a good way to show people, to kind of, if they're, used to eating the standard American diet, and their palate isn't ready to, like, go eat a big salad or, like, stuff like that. It's like, most people, even if they don't have a huge sweet tooth, they're gonna still enjoy and appreciate a good dessert. So that's a good way to kind of show them, hey, like, they're, like, eating it and they're like, whoa, wait, this has no refined sugar, or this is plant based, like, what? And then they want to learn a little more, and then maybe they'll try, some other recipes. And so yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Mhm.
So it's so easy to get hooked on processed foods, Amanda. So, like, did you have any kind of feeling, like, did you feel like it was hard for you to give up processed foods?
Yeah, I mean, definitely at first it was definitely a challenge. I think, like I said, when I transitioned from, like, the standard American diet to vegan, I was still doing the processed food thing, like processed vegan food, but at the same time, I was becoming a little bit more aware, so I was incorporating more fresh fruits and veggies while still having some of the vegan processed stuff, and then I slowly weaned off of that, and lean more towards the whole food, plant-based, um, and then more raw foods, and slowly kind of made a change. So I think like for I get it's not easy, and for people that are trying to wean off the processed stuff and eat more real food, I think just don't be too hard on yourself and know that, you don't have to do a complete 180 overnight. It's okay to like start with one thing, and like if you drink a lot of soda, like cut out the soda and maybe just keep eating what you're eating for the time being and just focus on one thing at a time. Because if you try to go all in overnight, like some people can do that and that's amazing, but for most people that's probably not going to work, long term, and they're going to feel overwhelmed and stressed out, and they're just going to go back to their old ways. So, I think yeah, it's not easy. It wasn't easy for me. I think part of the thing that one of the things that made it easier was just experimenting in the kitchen and finding healthier ways to make things that still tasted really good. Because that's the thing with the processed food, it's so highly palatable and it's so, addictive, and it's everywhere. And so when your body's so used to that and your taste buds are so used to that, like you really have to teach your body to like, because you're going to crave what you put into your body. So, your gut microbes and everything are going to be built by the foods that you're eating. So once you slowly cut out those processed foods and replace them with the real whole foods, that's eventually it's going to get easier for sure. The longer you do it, it gets a lot easier, and you'll crave what you give your body. So just give it time. It's not going to be easy at first, but no big change is going to be easy, but it's definitely worth it for sure.
I love how you put it, like make small changes because you don't want to
Hmm.
be overwhelmed and get back to your old habits. And as you said, like yes, change doesn't happen overnight. Like
Hmm.
especially if you want to make the change sustainable, it's very difficult to do overnight. So
Yeah.
I really love about that. So what do you eat in a day?
Oh, yeah, every day is a little different. I intermittent fast most days, like, I don't have, like, a set, like, window, it's kinda different, but I try to go at least, like, 12, 14, 16 hours in between meals. I do try to juice as much as I can, like, green juices, and during citrus season, I'll do, like, citrus, like, fresh juices. And then I like smoothies, I have a smoothie almost every day, and I'll throw in, some banana and some berries and some like hemp seeds and flax seeds, and um, some, you know, dates and sea moss. I add sea moss in my smoothies to get some minerals in, um, and then I'll do like I eat a lot of fruit, especially it's kind of different. It depends on what time of year it is, I guess. In the summer, I eat a lot more fruits and fresh, like raw foods. Um, in the colder months, I'll still eat raw foods, but I'll do some, curries and soups, and roasted sweet potatoes and stuff like that with my salads. But I try to have a big salad almost every day if I can, and get a lot of fresh vegetables in, and a lot of greens. Greens are very important. And yeah, and then I know I have all my dessert recipes. I would say I don't have those like every night, but I do sometimes I'll make a batch of like um, some like energy balls made with like oats and peanut butter and stuff like that, and have throughout the day, because I do try to stay very active too, and I do work out and go to the gym about 5 days a week. So I want to make sure I'm fueling my body, and keeping keeping myself satisfied with the food as well. So every day is a little different, but um, yeah, I would say definitely always having, fruits, vegetables, a smoothie, um, and then some type of like whole grain, legumes, beans, things like that. Yeah.
Amazing. So we got a question here, Amanda. So they're asking, where do you get the sea moss?
Oh, yeah, the brand that I've been using, for the last, like, almost a year now, they're called Organically Kismet, and you can find them I found them through Instagram, but, they have a website. It's yeah, Organically Kismet, I believe is their name, and it's like a woman-owned company, I think, based in California, and they have a lot of, their sourcing is really good from where they get their sea moss, and then they have a lot of cool, like, flavors that they make. So you can get the dry sea moss sent to you and make your own gel, which I do, but I also they have different flavors that all have different, like, beneficial, like, herbs and spices in them and stuff, and um, they're a really cool company. So, yeah, I definitely if you're looking for sea moss, I definitely suggest going to
So,
them.
so did you say it's called Kiss Me or
Organically Kismet, I believe it's Kismet,
Okay, KISM.
organically Kismet. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll put here in
But
the
yeah,
show.
sea moss is good because I believe it has like a 92 out of 102 minerals that the body needs. So it's good to have every day.
Amazing.
Mhm.
And I see that you mentioned like you work out every day. So when you were eating processed food, also like you were working out this way?
Um, I wasn't so I played sports growing up and I played softball and basketball and I was pretty active just with like, playing outside and riding my bike and stuff like that, but I wasn't um in college I was playing softball and I would go to the gym and I would lift weights
Mhm.
occasionally. Like, it wasn't like consistent.
Mhm.
But once I did start changing my diet is when I feel because food and nutrition, or not, sorry, food and fitness, I feel go hand in hand. And I feel like when I started eating a lot better, I had more energy and I had more desire to go work out more consistently.
Mhm.
And I just felt better during and after my workouts and recovery was better. And so I wasn't always as consistent at the gym, as I have been, but yeah, I try to lift weights about 5 days a week. I'll do yoga. I've been really into, like, jump roping lately. It's a fun, like, cardio, and it's a good way to move the lymphatic system, and, it's a fun workout too. Yeah.
Amazing. So like you are eating whole plants, you are like exercising, you're
Oh,
sweating.
yeah. Yeah, try to get out into nature, get good sleep, try to manage there's things I can work on. I need to the stress management is something I've been trying to work on and, just allowing myself to slow down and to be able to, like, rest and things like that, but, yeah, I try to take as much of a holistic approach to health as I can, along with the diet, so I preach about on my platform, I talk obviously a lot about food, but I also try to get people to it's very important to move your body every day and get out into nature and manage your stress and get good sleep and have a sense of, purpose in life and all that. It all works together. So, yeah.
Amazing,
And that's
amazing.
why this bundle is so amazing because
Mhm.
it's not just food. There's, fitness stuff in there. There's Lissa's, affirmation meditation challenge, which I'm excited to
Mhm.
dive into that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what are the things that piqued your interest in this bundle?
Yeah, yeah, I would say, like I mentioned, Lissa's, affirmation challenge, I think is, a really awesome contribution because I think it all really starts with the mindset, and you have to be like any lifestyle change, whether it's diet or fitness or whatever it is, like it all starts in the mind, and you have to be, in a good, um, I think through that contribution, through the meditations and the affirmations you're telling yourself, I think that's a really good way to, um, as you're taking steps on your health journey to continue to, focus on the mindset part and know why you're doing it and know, um, because like I said, your mind is very powerful. And if you tell yourself you're going to make these changes and you're doing it because you love yourself and you love, your family and you want to be there for them and stuff like that, like that's really good. Some other products, there's a nice cream book in there, and there's a lot of I just recently got like a Ninja Creamy, and so I've been using that, and there's a lot of Ninja Creamy recipes in that one that I'm excited to try out.
Yeah, oh my
Um,
God, I love Ninja Creamy. Like our son, he loves ice cream and I love it too.
yeah.
And with Ninja Creamy, like you just get professional ice creams. I mean, like store bought ice creams.
Yeah.
The consistency and all this is really nice. And with that Ninja Creamy, oh my God, you can do so many things. Like
Yes.
so many different flavors of ice cream. You can use fruits, vegetables, and
Yeah, and
like
that's the thing, you can control what's in it, and you know exactly
yes,
you can make it a healthier thing, but it's still that gives you that texture and that gives you the
yes,
perfect ice cream texture that you want.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all look, but because we love the ice cream for its texture, and so
Yes,
so,
yes.
so that's what we are looking for. So that's really amazing. Yeah, like as you said, there are so many amazing contributions in the bundle,
Mhm.
and it's really wonderful. And each year it's different. I mean,
Mhm.
like the same thing doesn't repeat, and like more than 80 contributions are there in this bundle, which is amazing. Like I and as you said, there are a lot of fitness thing. I even Courtney Soma, she
Mhm.
has 6 weeks of strength training, like those so those things, like she gave a plan as well, like okay, so like what you can do each day, so that is amazing.
Yeah.
And uh,
Yeah, there's something in there for everyone, whether you are fully vegan or not, or you're just wanting to eat more whole foods or try out new recipes. Like, there's definitely something in there for everyone. And I think being only the $49 for the amount of content that's in there, it's you can't really beat that. Like, it's a very small investment in your health. And you do get to keep all the, products for once you download them, you'll have them forever. So it's definitely a valuable resource. I wish I would have had something like that, 7 years ago when I started my health journey.
I agree. I agree. Like when we were starting this, we didn't have access to all this. And that too
Mhm.
at such a price, because
Mhm.
even like we had to spend a lot of dollars, I mean, to learn certain things or to get used to certain things. So it was
Right.
not this cheap, I would say.
Right. Yeah, and there's some products in there that are just like, some courses that are $200 by themselves. So it's kind of a no-brainer when you even if there's just 2 products in the whole bundle that interest you, which I'm sure there'll be a lot more than that, but it definitely makes it worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we are pasting Amanda's link here. So make sure you grab the bundle. Use the link here to uh, grab the bundle and download her amazing book, like where she has 40 recipes of both savory and sweet dishes, and these are amazing. So, and they are so simple to make. That's what I
Mhm.
love about Amanda's recipe. Like they're not complicated. They are simple to make, and they're so delicious. And like every kid and adult can be hooked to that. So instead of being hooked to the processed foods, you can be hooked to this like amazing delicious whole food, like which is great. So Amanda, if so people need to reach you, so like do you coach people or do you help people to eat better?
I don't do coaching right now. It is something that I think I have definitely thought of starting soon,
Mhm.
some type of health coaching. But right now, you can find, my website is myplantcreations.com, where I do have more recipes on there, and I have my ebooks, and I do have a like online apparel store, um, and then my main platform right now is Instagram. So my food page is at plant double underscore creations. And then my other page is just at amanda.sick, where I have some fitness content and like other mindset and health related stuff on there. And then I'm on YouTube as well as at Plant Creations. I'm going to start getting more consistent on YouTube. But yeah, so if anyone wants to reach out or has questions too, feel free to message me about anything, and happy to help talk anything, health and wellness, plant based, lifestyle related. So
Amazing. And I don't know how do you do that. Like you maintain so many pages, one for fitness, one like for food. Like we tear our head apart just maintaining one page. So that's amazing because I know it's a lot of work, and the food that you eat gives you a lot of energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And when it's stuff I'm passionate about too, so that helps. It makes, and
uh-huh.
I just want to help inspire as many people as I can to, take your health into your own hands and know that you have the power to change. And it's not always easy, but if you really have the desire to do it, like know that you can change, and it's never too late to start taking better care of yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have also posted your social links and everything below the show notes. So if you guys need to reach Amanda, so you will be able to do so. And as I said, just 3 more days are left. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Grab the bundle, because before you know, this bundle is going to be gone, and
And it's
you
new every time, so this is the
yes.
only time you can get this exact bundle.
Yes, that's so true. Like this exact resources you only get this time. And next time, I know there will be more resources, more things. And as Amanda said, this is something you can download and keep it forever. And this recipes are definitely to keep forever. So thank you so much, Amanda,
Yeah.
and thank you guys for watching. And as I said, make sure you